Good morning. Please rise as you are able and join me in singing our opening hymn, Sing for God's Glory. This is on page 4, and we'll be singing all 4 verses. Sing for God's glory that colors the dawn of creation, racing across the sky, traveling bright clouds of elation. Sun of delight succeeds the velvet of night, warming the earth's exaltation. Sing for God's power that shatters the chains that would bind us, searching the darkness of fear and despair that could blind us, touching our shame with love that will not lay blame, reaching out gently to find us. Sing for God's justice, disturbing each easy illusion, tearing down tyrants and putting our pride to confusion. Like cloud of light, resisting evil and slight, offering freedom's transfusion. Sing for God's saints who have traveled faith's journey before us, who in our weariness give us their hope to restore us. In them we see the new creation to be, Spirit of love made flesh for us.
Please be seated. Now it's my turn. Good morning, church. Welcome to worship, all of you here and all of you online, whether right now or at a later time. Welcome to worship at Plymouth Church. I think it's almost winter. I only have to walk 1 block, but I did notice something in the air. We are on our way to completing our church year here in a few weeks and beginning again with Advent. It is that time of the year as we come toward our Thanksgiving season. And welcome people of any age, and a reminder that we know that people have different things happening with them in terms of worship and attention, and so if you need to spread out or get a fidget or do some coloring, people of all ages, the little ones are over there, the carpet's there, there's room in the back as well. Do what you need to do to stay with us here in worship. Now, our purpose here is to humbly seek and serve God always within, among, and beyond ourselves. And we have some ministry opportunities to do that. As many of you know, that's in our Friday email and on our website. But I want to lift up these particular ones. Particularly at this 9 a.m. worship, I can talk about the 10 a.m. offerings. We have a couple this morning. In the chapel, former state legislator Todd Otis leads a discussion of the roots of democracy and the American Revolution. And then outside of Conn Theater, in the gallery area, The Labyrinth is out. And M.J. McGregor will talk a little bit about it, but you have a chance to be in that prayer of movement. I recommend it if you have that opportunity, that time. A couple other things we need to note as we come into this time in the life of our community. The need for support of the Groveland food shelf continues as people continue to go without their benefits, and the need was there beforehand. The other thing I want to lift up is there's an impending teachers' strike, I've been told. Did they get it? There's no teachers' strike coming. Thank you. Never mind. Let's continue this morning to hear a financial witness of faith about our upcoming Consecration Sunday next month.
Behold, we are doing a new thing. This modification of a passage from Isaiah describes our coming Financial Stewardship Fund appeal. The new thing for Plymouth is one I've known for 40 years. While a member of the Wisconsin Conference of the United Methodist Church staff, I got to know Herb Miller, a church growth consultant. He was developing a financial stewardship program he called Consecration Sunday. I reviewed it and thought it has possibilities, and I wanted to field test it. So I asked Joan, who was then the pastor of a United Methodist Church, if she would allow her church to use it, and I offered to be the guest leader. She was, and I was. This new approach to annual fundraising went very well. During a conversation with JT earlier this year, it came to me that Consecration Sunday might be a possible option for Plymouth. Not knowing if it still existed, I Googled Consecration Sunday. I found it not only existed, but had been improved and used by thousands of congregations. Knowing that a guest leader was a key to this fund appeal plan, I called the Minnesota Conference of the United Church of Christ and left a voicemail message. Reverend Wendy Vanderhart, the Generosity Officer, a wonderful title, responded to my message. I discovered she was familiar with Consecration Sunday, and in a response that was beyond my wildest expectations for this conversation, she offered to be our guest leader. Wendy is wonderful. I'm confident you will appreciate the leadership, spirit, and message she will bring to us. Our Consecration Sunday will be December 14th. In the coming weeks, you will learn about the Consecration Sunday's approach to giving through the Friday email, letters, emails, social media, and worship talks. The members of our Consecration Sunday team are Gail Fugit, Linda Simey, Carol Brandenburg, Brittany Scow, Gina Del Corazon, Don Doberstein, Mike McAllister, Rick Simey, JT, and me. You will hear about our need to be givers rather than the church's need to be the recipients of our financial gifts. You will receive guidance for your prayerful consideration as you make your 2026 giving decision. You will be invited to a celebration brunch after the worship service you choose to attend on Consecration Sunday. You will be thanked for completing your estimate of giving. Please join our team on this journey of faith and generosity.
Thank you, Don Schultz. Consecration Sunday is December 14th, so we're on a journey together. Let's continue our worship with our song of preparation.
Good morning. Today, we light the peace candle. in celebration of our many memberships within our community. For today is new member and new 50-year member Sunday, and at the 11 o'clock service, we'll welcome 2 new members into our Plymouth community. Let us welcome and give thanks for the many gifts and wisdom the new members and the new 50-year members bring and share with our community. We will continue to walk together through life's journey, supporting one another and humbly seeking and serving God within, among, and beyond. This is the sacred work of our community, and there is a knowing this work cannot be achieved alone, but within the presence of one another. As you can see in your bulletin, there's 7 new 50-year members that are joining over the 125. This year, we welcome the following members into the 50-year group: Cynthia Andrews, Carolyn Burnell, John Carlson, Marjorie Ferris, Sarah Kiker, Nancy Parsons, and Jackie Prince. Our ministry is more meaningful and abundant because of all of them. They are the carriers of our history and can provide a calm within the transitions, for they have seen and walked through many changes at Plymouth and yet continue to be an integral part of our community. May their deep love and commitment to Plymouth continue to inspire us and renew our own commitments to this community. We thank all of the 50-year plus members for the ways in which they lead and love Plymouth. At this time, if you are a 50-year member, please rise if you are able, or wave a hand, and let us give you appreciation and thanksgiving. Joy in our hearts that we, the new members and the long-standing members, are on this journey together. Let us continue in song.
Greeting those new 50-year members as well as each other with the peace of God. I invite us to connect with one another right now. Wonderful. When Bertie Cunningham came to us in my conversations and getting to know her, said, "Oh, it's great being at United. I have this preaching professor named Beth Donaldson." I said, "Great." And then I saw Beth Donaldson sitting right back there, Sunday after Sunday. And so we're thrilled to have Reverend Dr. Beth Donaldson be our guest preacher today and bring a message for us. She's got some fun news to share with you as well in her message this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry you got set up for me to give a really good sermon because I used to teach. I'm glad to be here. The Older Testament reading today is from the book of Ruth, chapters 3, 1 through 5, and 4, 13 through 17. Naomi, Ruth's mother-in-law, said to her, "My daughter, I need to seek some security for you, so that it may be well with you. Now here is our kinsman Boaz, with whose young women you have been working. See in his winnowing barley tonight at his threshing floor. Now wash and anoint yourself, and put on your best clothes, and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, observe the place where he lies. Then go, uncover his feet, and lie down, and he will tell you what to do." She said to her, "All that you tell me, I will do." So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. When they came together, the Lord made her conceive, and she bore a son. Then the woman said to Naomi, "Blessed be the Lord, who has not left you this day without next of kin, and may his name be renowned in all Israel. He shall be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you, who is more to you than 7 sons, has borne him." Then Naomi took the child, laid him on her bosom, and became his nurse. The women of the neighborhood gave him a name, saying, "A son has been born to Naomi." They named him Obed. He became father of Jesse and father of David. The Newer Testament reading, I will read verses 40 through 44 of Mark 12. Jesus sat down opposite the treasury and watched the crowd putting money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums. A poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which were worth a penny. Then he called his disciples and said to them, "Truly, I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who contributed to the treasury. For of all of them who contributed out of their abundance, she, out of her poverty, has put in everything she had, all she had to live on." Let's see, the words are, "These are the words of our ancient tradition." Well, good morning again. I'm really so grateful to be worshiping with you and to be invited to preach today. Although you may not know it, I am actually officially a member here at Plymouth. Most of you probably don't know me at all. I come as often as I can to the 11 o'clock service, and as JT mentioned, I sit in that back section over there. I find a spot where there's just a little bit more light than others, and I take in the music, the prayers, the sermons, the whole experience. As you can see from your program, I am indeed an ordained minister. I served the United Church of Christ in New Brighton for over 18 years, and 2 other churches in Hawaii before that. And in that role, what I probably enjoyed most was preaching. So I've been taking some time away from local church ministry to care for parents and family. And as I've done so, I have really missed preaching. I've missed it so much, in fact, that each Sunday after hearing a sermon, wonderful, exciting, brilliant sermon, on my way home, I find myself composing the sermon I would have written. Every text has hundreds of sermons in it. And because of this, I need to confess that I'm a little backed up preaching-wise. I have so much to say that I have to warn you. You may have to go on with the rest of the service before I'm done. Or you may have to enlist Laura to play me out like they do in the Oscars. Or you may just need to leave me here and go on your way. I'll turn the lights off behind me. No, I promise not to do that, and I thank you again for letting me be here with you. I have to assume that there's some agreement that we are living in such challenging and for many, many people, frightening times. I've thought so much about what's happening in our country and have decided that I would best describe what's happening as our country having an autoimmune disease. Our systems are attacking themselves. The sources of illness are not beyond us or outside of us, but are within. I realized recently that my taxes are being used to defend policies that hurt me and other people. How crazy is that? At all levels, we are seeing and experiencing internal conflicts and diminishment of wellness. And it feels so much like people with the power and capacity to affect big, healthy change have chosen rather to use those privileges to amass more power, and I'll just say it out loud, to amass more wealth upon wealth, rather than to serve their own people. As we sit here today, people have lost access to food, to health care, to living safely in their communities, to travel without concern, to express their opinions and objections to what is happening. The list goes on and on. It's an incredible time to be alive. Incredible, unbelievable. And I don't know about you, but I so often feel profoundly powerless to really affect any change. I know I'm probably more expressive about it than maybe you're used to, but I hope and assume that I'm not alone in these feelings. I want to share a quick story before I go much further. When I was a young minister on the island of Kauai, I led a youth group every Sunday evening, and each week I took a few of them home in the church van. And one of them, Noelani, lived up in the hills. And in that place, there were no street lights. There weren't even street names. So in that part of the island, it was particularly dark because there was no ambient light. And so I learned very quick, I had to take Noelani home in the dark, and I got used to finding on the way, I paid attention to posts and branches that would come in front of the tree and how far it might be from one turn to the other. I learned my way pretty well. But one day, our youth group activities were earlier, and I was taking the kids home in daylight. Surprisingly, when it came to time to drop off Noelani, I got lost. I couldn't find my way. I was so unaccustomed to being able to see everything along the way. I'd gotten used to finding my way in the dark. Noelani had to help me find her house. My friends, I really fear that we are in that same boat. I fear that we are becoming accustomed to finding our way in the dark, that we may not even recognize our way in broad daylight. This is true in so many aspects. For instance, we're so used to our technology and its increasing abilities that we don't really see the ill effects of it on our environment, our relationships, our physical health, our youth. I heard a story that AI has been found to help some youth who have suicidal ideation to complete it. If we're driving in the daylight, would we not be more enraged and terrified and empowered to choose to live differently and save these precious things and these precious people? Or we're so used to incivility now that we're confusing what is legal, freedom of speech, with what is helpful, what is meaningful, what is nuanced, what is complicated, and what requires critical thinking. If we were driving in the daylight more, might we might we speak of each other differently and expect more from our leaders in this regard? We're so used to driving in the dark that we don't always notice the ways people of privilege take access and opportunity for granted, while people of color and people of poverty struggle for social mobility and even the bare essentials of everyday life. If we were, as a society, driving in the daylight, if we were really seeing what's happening, wouldn't we want to, if we were to understand the effects of the dynamics of racism and sexism and economic injustice, wouldn't our hearts actually break over and over again? Wouldn't we want to create more equality, celebrate diversity, and be more inclusive? Wouldn't we desire that all of God's children were treated like children of God? And God's created was tended to with radical appreciation and care. Here's the thing. I think it's because we have become too used to driving in the dark that we don't think we can really make a difference in the way things are. We're used to it. Our lives aren't that bad, after all. We can live with it. We can find our way because we have to. We're used to it. I chose to invite us to consider the story of the book of Ruth because I think it offers a powerful story of people who live in seeming darkness because of their status in society, but create light, even though they're among the most meek. If you remember the beginning of the story, Naomi has 2 sons. They marry Moabite women, foreigners. When the sons, along with their father, all die, Naomi entreats her daughters-in-law to return to their people where they would be cared for by their own people and have more status, even just a little more. One of the young women, named Orpah, agrees and goes home. The other, Ruth, stays. She requests and proclaims, "Do not ask me to leave you. Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God." So Naomi and Ruth, both women, both widows, Ruth a foreigner, are among the most powerless in their society. They are wards, if you will, to some extent of their society. And we know how society feels about providing for foreigners. They're living in the dark to some extent, and they could continue this way. They could just become used to it and let things be. At many levels, I'm sure this was true. But in the pericope we read today, this isn't enough for Naomi. She actually drives in the daylight and knows that a better life is possible. So she finds a way. She encourages Ruth to ingratiate herself to their kinsman Boaz. And eventually, and this is important, at some point we'll do another sermon about it, but you need to know that Boaz actually follows the rules and the laws and traditions of society before actually marrying Ruth. He checks with the people that might have privilege over him. Anyway, it's all about, I like it that he follows the rules. Ruth marries Boaz, is welcomed more fully into their family and their clan, and bears a son. Now, I hope you noticed, as I did, that what happens next is that the child is handed over to Naomi to nurse. And the women of the neighborhood celebrate with Naomi and Ruth and name the child Obed, who becomes the great ancestor of a man who would be named generations later Jesus. So here's what I hope we can take away from this story. Acts of love and devotion through the agency of the most meek and powerless, women, widows, and foreigners, potentially in the midst of a queer family, get this, 2 mothers and a father, I don't know, who's to say? But out of this mix of all kinds of dynamics, that child, whom societies might disdain and discard and dismiss, God works out of all of this comes a child and a line of humanity that changed the world, quite literally. Whatever we believe about Jesus, whether we see him as fully divine or fully human or both, as the UCC likes to say, he changed the world, introducing it to a loving and sustaining God to whom we all belong, no exceptions. So God worked through that child's great-great-great-great-great-grandmothers and changed our world too. Now, through the small actions of faithfulness, they impacted the whole of the future. So I want us to drive in the daylight today and see them, to see the brave and devoted choices they made, to see that they could move within their circles of influence, however small they were, to change things. I want us to see that it's a miracle this story is in our sacred tradition at all. I want to invite us to drive in the daylight and pay attention to the road signs they offer us, because they knew, especially Naomi, that they could affect change, even in their powerlessness, in their meekness. I heard an account, and I'm sorry I don't know the source, of a person who used to go to the White House fence and protest every day. This is before No Kings. When someone asked him why he was doing this thing, wasn't it futile? Nobody even noticed him. He responded that he wasn't doing it believing he would change the injustices, but because he didn't want the injustices to change him. I wonder if this wasn't true for that widow in the temple where Jesus observed, giving her 2 cents, which was all she had. I'm guessing that she had no delusions that her giving would impact the temple in any profound way, but she knew that giving would help her to remain herself, to be a person with agency and power, however poor and meek she was. So I've been sitting quietly in that back section each week, and I'm able to come each week that I'm able to come to church, and I've been paying attention. I've been watching you, Plymouth Congregational Church. And I want to celebrate with you the ways you are driving in the daylight. You are seeing what needs to be seen and responding to it. The truth is that the darkness can change us if we let it. But driving in the daylight empowers us to be agents of change for the good. I see you, Plymouth Church, as you welcome young people not only to share in your worship and the life of your church, but to be heard and as they talk to you so honestly and bravely about mental illness a few weeks ago. I see you, Plymouth Church, driving in the daylight and loving these young people and all of their truths. I, who have suffered from depression for many years, sometimes intractable and deep, will never forget when Toby Eichton said, "Listen to your heart. Don't be enslaved by your mind." Sitting in that back corner, I heard this young man's words and I was changed. Blessed are the meek, for God will work through them and change the world. I see you, Plymouth Church, as you continue to process the experiences of your stunning needleworks, which I first saw 30 years ago. As you have grappled with the stories they tell and have had to allow for unexpected ramifications, but have done the unutterably anguishing thing of driving in the daylight and hearing and seeing the experiences of others, and then making some painful decisions. Driving in the daylight, I see you seeing them. I see you being willing to be changed so that you can be agents of change and healing for others. God is working through you. I see you who join Plymouth today and bring your lights of love to this source of light, and I challenge you never to shy away from offering your 2 cents, your strength and resources of mind and heart, knowing that God can change the world through you too. And I see you, members who have been here more than 50 years, who have been faithful and committed. I see that you get it, that the church matters in the world because it invites us to drive in the daylight in so many ways. I see you, Plymouth Church, as you navigate your future with JT, as you ask what it means to be a people of faith in this time and in this place. I see you wondering about your calling as a congregation and wanting to drive in the daylight of our times and both exist and respond in that light with God's help. I see you. So I need to tell you that I will miss my little corner back there. I've accepted a call to a lovely church in New Hampshire, South Church in Concord. I will no longer have to preach to myself on the drive home. And I want to thank you for being a source of light to me these last few years. I see you, Plymouth Congregational Church, and I celebrate you. Let us all in our meekness and in our strength, have hope in the truth that through God's love and ours, we too can change the world. Amen.
Thank you, Beth. We have been offered the Word, the living Word. We are called to make it alive in our lives. And we are called, as Pastor Beth just said, to find our power, to know we have it. This is one of the hidden meanings of the offering prayer. I've heard people say, why do we pass the plates? I don't have cash. I don't put anything in. I don't have those envelopes I grew up with decades ago. It's because the plate is itself a reminder. It is a prayer to say, what will you offer? What has God given you? And how can that gift be given for the greater purposes of love? Let us pray ourselves into this community prayer of giving with these words. In deep humility and gratitude to God, who shepherds and comforts us, let us bring our offerings to God. In thanks and gratitude, we offer these gifts to you. That's a good prayer. Thank you. We move into a time of community prayer where there's space for those prayers that would be spoken briefly that call to you as needing to be spoken in our time together. And then we'll all reply as printed in the bulletin. Loving God, we open our hearts to you. Prayer circle is open. What prayers would be spoken this morning?
I want to offer a prayer of gratitude to Beth for such a humble call to action. And I pray that we will all have the courage and tenacity to have insight into what we personally can do to change our world. Thank you.
Loving God, we open our hearts to you.
This morning I offer a prayer of thanksgiving, first of all, to all of those in our congregation who have borne with Plymouth Congregational Church for more than 50 years. To have more than 125 people living and in that list, to me, is absolutely remarkable. But we're not tied to the past. We find ourselves continually moving forward. And also, I'd like to have a prayer of thanks for, all of the clergy who are members of this congregation. Many are retired, some are not. I have never been in a congregation that I know of with the breadth of richness of the number of clergy who join us on Sunday mornings and worship with us. Thank you.
Loving God, we open our hearts to you.
Hi, some of you heard me talk earlier this summer about my concerns for my son who had joined the military. I just want to say a prayer of gratitude for all of the support I received, and prayer of gratitude that he is now home as of Wednesday. He came to church with me, we got like 15 minutes after he got home, and we went and surprised Nina downstairs, and he got the biggest hug ever. So that was what he wanted to do. So the church, while he's not here much on Sundays, still means a lot to him. And I also want to wish him a happy 19th birthday on Tuesday.
Loving God, we open our hearts to you.
Yesterday, I went to hear Matthew Taylor talk about Christian nationalism. And as I walked home, I thought, oh, I don't want to think about that. Talk about walking home in the dark. This is real, and it's a real threat, and it's really organized, and it's really powerful, and it's really, really frightening. And I pray that I and my church and my community would have the courage to step forward where we need to and speak up and be a force for good and truly share the good news that Jesus shared, that all people are welcome and all people are valued and all people need our care.
Loving God, we open our hearts to you.
Morning. I'm going to continue the gratitude theme with several initials, TSA, FAA, EPA. I'm grateful for those people who work for the TSA, and the FAA who keep our air travel safe. They're working without pay. I pray that every one of them will stand in there until somebody blinks in D.C. and finishes this terrible chapter we're going through. People who work for the EPA, including my son-in-law, are getting paid, but many of them have been fired or have been laid off. My son-in-law is in a terrible situation in Colorado right now, and I pray for him specifically that the people he works with will also stand in there.
Yeah. Loving God, we open our hearts to you. I light this candle for all those who are on the margins because of the government shutdown or because of the way things are set up, because of what's happened in their lives. So we might imagine some of those people we know or some of those people we don't know. This is a prayer of blessing for them. Loving God, we open our hearts to you. And I like this candle as a prayer for all those prayers that are unspoken and those prayers we hold that are yet beyond words. Loving God, we open our hearts to you. Please join me in the prayer that Jesus taught, this version of it. Tender, loving God, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Please rise as you are able and join me in our closing hymn on page 5, For the Beauty of the Earth. We'll also be singing all 4 verses.
Over and around us lies, Lord
Go now, people of God, and give your 2 cents. Go now and claim your power. Go now and change the world. Amen.